I have been joined by Stephen Amoah, who's the CEO of MASLOC, and we haven't seen him in a while. Good morning. Happy New Year. How are you?
The good boy.
Why are you calling yourself the good boy?
I know I'm a good boy. Nobody writes another person's CV.
Okay, that's true. So you are writing your own CV. How have you been? We've not seen you in a while.
It's been stressful because, politics.
It's just stress.
If I were to be born again.
You won't? Why?
It's too stressful.
But we need men like you.
No. It's not Ghana.
It's a new year, so let's see. Maybe things will get better. We have to be optimistic.
Things are getting better, but not enough.
Not enough for you.
So politics is not good for people who mean well.
But we're glad you're still in it.
I can't stop because I've gone far in the middle of the sea.
You can't.
Because you can't make any policy and succeed.
True.
I
think you can.
All policies affect other people, whether in the NDC or MPP, and the media to some of it. For Citi, you are doing well.
Thank you.
You and a few of them, but others, they make it difficult for government.
We'll get there. It's baby steps. I mean, we've only been a democracy for almost 30 years. So we will. Well, I'm glad you made it today.
Maybe after the second coming of Christ.
Should we take a look at our first story?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So I'm reading from page 16 of the Ghanaian Times. Actually, this is the Daily Graphic, so I'm not looking at the Ghanaian Times. I'm looking at Daily Graphic here. Dziffa Akua Ametam, others hauled before court. The state has charged a former finance minister, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, and 7 others with 68 counts for the roles they allegedly played in the collapse of Unibank. So I'm going to name the people. The 7 people are Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, the second, who's the son of Dr. Duffuor, who's the chief executive officer of Unibank, Dr. Johnson Pandit Esiama, a former second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Eko Nyakodadzi Dennis, who's the chief operating officer of Unibank, former Unibank, Elsie Danso-Chere, the executive head of corporate banking, Jeffrey Amon, a senior relationship manager, Kojo Opoku Oko, who is a financial control manager, and Benjamin Ofori, the executive head of credit risk at the bank. Also facing charges over the issue is the entity Holder Holdings Limited, the majority shareholder of Unibank, which was said to be controlled by Dr. Duffuor. So I'm going to get into the specifics of the Attorney General's accusations. So they're saying that Dr. Duffuor, who was a shareholder of Unibank, he's been accused of contributing to the collapse of the bank by dishonestly receiving over 663 million Ghana cedis from the bank. Dr. Esiama, who is also an accused person by the Director General DPP, so the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mrs. Yvonne Akoto Abuobisa, and filed at the Accra High Court. The case goes on to accuse him of allegedly using his position as a second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana to approve the transfer of 300 million Ghana cedis, which was at an unsecured credit facility from Unibank to the Universal Merchant Bank. So there are a series of accusations from the first accused person, was Dr. Duffuor, second accused person, Holder Holdings itself, third accused person, Johnson Pandit Esiama, who was the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana between April 2016 to January 2018. Fourth accused person is Kwabena Duffuor II, the second, formerly CEO of Unibank and subsequently becoming the CEO between 2017 and 2018. The fifth person, Eko Nyakodadzi Dennis, who was also CEO of Unibank and a member of the board of directors of a company called WAICA Reinsurance Corporation. We'll visit that later on. And sixth accused person, Elsie Danso-Chere, executive head of corporate banking at Unibank. Seventh accused person, Jeffrey Amon, who was the senior relationship manager of corporate banking at Unibank. Eighth person, Benjamin Ofori, executive head of credit risk at Unibank. And the ninth person is Kojo Opoku Oko, who was the financial control manager of Unibank and head of finance of Holder. So let me start with you. our guest who is here.
Okay.
How are you? So we're hearing the news now of individuals involved, some 9 people being accused of all sorts of things, paying themselves depositors' monies, moving it to other institutions. All these are allegations, but what do you make of at least the former second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana being named in this?
Sorry. My greetings to the good people of Ghana, especially those in Ishiaso constituency. I extend my greetings to them, and I greet you, and I greet my honorable member who is here.
I'm glad you're smiling at him.
Hey, we are good friends.
I know. Okay, let me introduce him since you've introduced him. Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini is here, MP Tamale North. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you?
I'm terrific. Hope you are well today.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
I beg you, let's establish this quickly.
And good morning.
Good morning. Viewers and listeners shouldn't think MPP and we are enemies.
Okay.
Normally after programs, we talk a lot. But when we are here, it's like boxing ring.
But it shouldn't be. Like, it shouldn't be a performance. It should be who you genuinely are.
Of course. But sometimes there should be a little drama to let people be happy. That's in constructive drama.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I have issues, you know. I think what happened to Ghana in terms of the performance of financial institutions or industry should not only be limited to just arresting them. I'm not saying they should be arrested. I'm not a legal practitioner. I really don't know what it entails. But I think as a country we have a general problem that we should look at. And the problem is that I think when it comes to the unsystematic risk factors, managing them in our country, it's become a very serious issue. I mean, very dysfunctional to the performance of our economy. And most of the times we overlook them, and they are unfortunate. They are victims to it because people do not manage their institutions very well. They don't, not at all. And it's not, I ask this question, nobody answers that. Since independence, how many Ghanaian-owned industries or enterprises are still thriving? How many of them? Since independence.
Could that be because sometimes we can't compete with foreign businesses who come in with a lot of cash and can afford to break even 20 years from now?
Why can't we compete? That is the answer. The company-specific risk factors. We don't manage ours well. If we can't compete, whose fault? If you are setting up your industries and you define your control systems and you yourself don't adhere to them, you can't separate ownership from control. Before you go into investment, what do? I went to one bank, I wouldn't mention the name because of ethics, and I told them that I think banks should move beyond their own jurisdiction in terms of their control systems and manage even their big clients, because most Ghanaian enterprises operating millions of dollars, trust me, some of them don't even have annual budgets. They don't set up annual budgets. They don't even have financial managers. They only have maybe accountants. I'm not saying accountants are not good, but they have their specific functions within the industry. They don't even understand the value chains of their own companies. So these are the issues that we should start with. And as a country, try to redefine our corporate focus and help the industries. Then we limit to some of these things specifics. It should become case scenarios for us to study. I'm not really going into the nitty-gritty in terms of the legal aspect because legally I don't really understand.
Yes, but as a Ghanaian citizen, hearing that, you know, former finance minister, founder of arguably one of the biggest locally owned banks in the country, they were doing all these kinds of things and are now being accused of fraudulent acts, money laundering, dishonesty in receiving and falsifications of accounts. How does that make you feel?
You know, it boils down one to the corruption, perceived corruption.
Perceived corruption.
These I want to be a bit careful.
Yes.
And when
because these are all allegations.
Yes. And when it comes to some of these things, my sister, we should also let people understand that sometimes people could be found guilty of all these things, not because deliberately they siphoned state fund or they did something, some embezzlement or misappropriation. But even sometimes non-compliance. Because, look, it's all about as a result of public audit to find out what happened. And what does audit entails? Preparation of your financial statement. Whether it meets the financial reporting standard or the GAAP. Whether it reflects the actual narratives or materiality, the things you use your money to purchase or the transfers you did, and whether your actions and inactions actually comply with the control systems. So even the third one, it could be that, yeah, you didn't do anything bad, but non-compliance led to this situation. All these things are there. It becomes very serious when a very important stakeholder, such as you mentioned, is involved on the critical activity path. Then you ask yourself, was there a cartel? Was there a syndicate to handling these things? So I think as much as the state is going through these things, we should also sit down, because elsewhere, this thing will hardly happen within the shortest possible time, because they will make sure that they find solution to it, so that going forward the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it will be difficult encountering the same challenge. But you know, Ghana here, we take them to court. Probably they may even be prosecuted or freed. But what actually caused that, whether intentionally or it wasn't deliberate act of just sheer negligence, we will not draft or craft the solutions that will hold us as a country, that we will not repeat these mistakes. Because trust me, the whole banking industry is a problem. I've come out with a new pricing model for securities. And do you know why? Ghana probably is probably the only country, I don't know, that T-bills, treasury bills, that are classified as risk-free, gives returns more than risky assets. Even ordinary person on the market knows that the higher the risk, the higher expected returns. And all over the world, if I invest in any bank, the returns I'm getting from the securities, in terms of all the formulas in the world we use to calculate, is the risk-free returns, that is treasury bill returns, plus a premium that I took for my risk. So if I invest in any of the banks, the return should be, if T-bills are giving me 20%, it should be 20% plus a percentage because I took the risk. But Ghana here, the risk-free rather gives you more than risky assets most of the time. So then what does we don't take financial institution, the regulatory framework by the Bank of Ghana and other things, either they are not potent enough to handle modern day transfers and operations within the banking sector or the financial institution, or they are not being adhered to. So I think first we should sit down, understand and identify the stakeholders along the value chain, and then whose role, whose action and inactions should be redefined, reviewed, and what is wrong and what is right. Because what I just said now, it means even GDPs calculated under NDC and PP in these times are totally wrong. Because the financial institutions are overvalued. So as a country, we have a big problem. And as institutions, the managers, they just limit that to corporate governance. Yes, it's just a broad topic. But what goes into it? Who are allowed to be given loans? What are the procedures? In fact, even MASLOC, I'm really suffering. I don't sleep. Because of some of these things, people even adhering to control systems is a problem. So I think we should look at all these things.
Thank you very much. Honorable Suhuyini, let's take your thoughts on this banking issue. And I want you to touch on the third accused person, who's Johnson Esiama, who was the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana between April 2016 and January 2018. I'm reading again from the Daily Graphic. It says here, also, the AG said Unibank applied for more than 1 billion Ghana cedis in liquidity support from the BOG between December 2015 and June 2016, but was able to pay back only 150 million Ghana cedis, leaving a deficit of 850 million. With regards to Dr. Esiama, the AG said he approved the transfer of funds from Unibank to UMB without following prescribed mandatory conditions. So even if he had not followed it, if the systems were structured properly, wouldn't they have been able to check what had gone wrong? But let's hear from you on this.
Exactly so. And let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the very good people of the Tamale North constituency. I agree with you that what he's accused of goes beyond one person, if indeed such an infraction occurred. But it is the handling of this whole banking crisis that, I have a problem with. And I think that as a country, we are not even getting the full effects of what is happening because of how largely unstructured our economy is. I believe that if our economy was that structured, we would be we would have been said to be going through a recession or worse because of this, crisis. And it's not as much as what was wrong with the system, but how it has been handled.
Okay, what do you mean by not as much as what was wrong? Because clearly a lot of things had gone wrong.
That's what I said.
Allegedly.
It's not as much as what was wrong, because definitely there was something wrong.
Okay.
But what has made the situation worse is how it has been handled shambolically, very untidy.
How should it have been handled?
Well, you see, the financial sector is a very sensitive sector. It thrives on confidence.
Okay.
And so if you shake that confidence and you do it in a way that it smacks of even sometimes, how do I put it? It smacks of witch hunt. It smacks of some score settling. And the issues are not very clear for those who play in that sector. And many people play in that sector. It just makes a bad situation worse.
Okay.
And we all agree that the Bank of Ghana, the way it went about this whole cleanup, created panic in the system that led to problems that could have been, better handled. Now, I look at what is going on. I remember Mr. Atuesian. He is owner of one of the
Capital Bank.
Yeah, collapse banks. Capital Bank. He went on on TV, Good Evening Ghana, poured his heart out, told his side of the story, because all along we're hearing the side of the government.
Okay. Well, nobody prevented him from sharing his side.
I get
Maybe
you.
his lawyers might have, but the public didn't.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that all along we're hearing the government side. Then he went on TV, poured his heart out, told his side of the story. A week later, he was arrested. Same thing happened to Prince Amoah.
No, but if you've been accused of a crime, you telling your side of the story does not make you innocent. You're still accused of a crime, and you still have to face the law.
I've not suggested
I'm
that.
just trying to make the connection between the two.
I'm saying that it reminds me, it makes me think about it, or I should stop thinking.
No, go ahead.
Good. So
I'm trying to connect
let
the
me
dots.
tell you what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm saying that the crisis started in 2017. The Bank of Ghana started managing it poorly, we all agree, creating panic.
I don't necessarily agree. I don't think we all agree that the Bank of Ghana handled it poorly, because if you've been accused of taking depositors' monies, these are hard-working Ghanaians. The little 100 cities, 500 cities they get, you are being accused of keeping it to yourself, investing it illegally. How did the bank handle that wrongly? How should they have handled it?
There are reports that have suggested that the Bank of Ghana created unnecessary panic that affected other institutions.
Okay.
That's what I speak to, that we all agree that they handled
Shouldn't
it
the
poorly.
Bank of Ghana had handled this earlier? Maybe we wouldn't have gotten into this mess. Don't you think?
You want us to go back, or you want us to discuss now?
We're still discussing what the Bank of Ghana did in the past.
So will you be kind enough to
ahead.
let me discuss what is now the case? Because-
Okay.
She's not kind.
No, because...
It's okay. It's okay. You'll get your time. Please continue.
I'm saying that there was a problem. Now, the Bank of Ghana wanted to solve the problem. The Bank of Ghana began with an audit. That is because you have taken me to the past. The Bank of Ghana began with an audit. Now the audit, gave the nature of problem, because you see, when you go to the hospital as a doctor, as a patient, the doctor just don't start to prescribe medicine.
Okay.
He has to do an investigation. So the investigation was done. The report gave the nature of the problem. In fact, one of the problems that was identified was a legal regime.
Okay.
So you had the previous, regimes being changed through parliament. The laws were changed, amended, and approved, so that the correction the treatment. That is why sometimes they take your temperature, they take your BP, they know what to administer to you before perhaps the injection that you require. So the laws and everything was done. The fact that there was, and that's why I don't want us to discuss this like a political thing. The fact that there was a transition does not mean that the work that was started had to be truncated.
Okay. So we will go for a quick break, and then we'll look at some of the allegations.
But before the break,
I'm going to quote.
You have succeeded in making me say nothing on this subject.
I will read this briefly, and then we'll go for the break. Or maybe we'll take the break, and then I'll read this. The hashtag again is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 055058583. I'll come to you right after the break. Is that okay? We'll go for a quick break and continue. We'll be back. Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the hashtag again is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 055058583. If you want to reach us and you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I'm going to read some of the accusations by the Attorney General here. It says, Unibank went into official administration on the 20th of March 2018 and was placed in receivership on 1st August 2018. KPMG, the official administrator, in the course of its duties, discovered that about 5.7 billion Ghana cedis had become due from shareholders of Unibank as at the 20th of March 2018. No security nor proper credit arrangements were made for payments of the amount which remains unpaid. The debt of about 5.7 billion Ghana cedis was made up of two components, namely a deferred expenditure account together with other balances of about 3.7 billion Ghana cedis, and secondly, loans and advances made up of about 2 billion Ghana cedis. The deferred expenditure account was a general ledger account created and operated for the benefits of shareholders of Unibank. The 3.7 billion Ghana cedis was also made up of a number of transactions, of which about 2.4 billion Ghana cedis constituted direct payouts for the benefit of the shareholders. So I will take your final thoughts on this matter and then go on to our other guests, and then we'll close it.
You know, in discussing some of these things, we need to understand that even what the Bank of Ghana says remains as an allegation until proven.
Yes.
So let us not carry on in this discussion.
And what the Attorney General also says is an allegation.
Exactly. Let us not carry on as if the people are guilty of what the Bank of Ghana puts out in the media.
But what do you make of these allegations?
The allegations.
What do you make of the allegations?
The allegations.
So you have no thoughts on the allegations?
No, it would be unfair for me to condemn anyone based on allegations.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you very much, Honorable Suhuyini. Go ahead.
Wow.
Okay, you had more to say.
It's all right.
I can even give him my time. The point is...
No, he didn't finish his thoughts. Please continue.
No, it's all right.
Come back.
Let him
continue.
Please
continue. Please continue.
Please let him go.
You know,
let him go. It's fine.
Do you know the challenge we are having in our country?
No, on this same topic.
Yes. Even sometimes when we have nothing to say or we are confronted with the truth, we want to just display our ego trips.
Okay.
You know, Honorable knows perfectly well.
Okay.
Because he's a very smart guy.
But don't speak for him, please. You make your point.
But for politics,
he
wouldn't say what he said.
Okay.
Because he made a statement that I am really astonished.
Okay.
That, the action of the Bank of Ghana actually worsened the situation of the banking industry.
And that was his opinion.
And this is funny.
How?
It's interesting.
Okay.
There's a bank here. Go and ask.
Okay.
I think as a member of parliament, this should come as a result of probably a research that he's done. And the findings are there for people to see.
It could be his research that he's done, and those are the findings.
I've asked about 4 or 5 different banks.
That's your own personal research.
So there's a bank here.
Yes, so that's your personal research.
But yes, that's why you're a moderator. Send somebody so that you tell Ghanaians.
Perfectly fine. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much.
What I'm saying is that at least the cleaning exercise by the Bank of Ghana has improved the performance indicators of the banks.
Okay.
Go and check. Under his regime, interest rate was between 33 and 40.
Okay.
Now you can get some even 22%. The bank actors and players themselves are telling you that now our industry is rubbing shoulders with others elsewhere. It's still not perfect. It's still an ongoing exercise. But you see that the banking sector today, it's not like when you ask a very brilliant question. If this exercise had been done in their regime, wouldn't have gotten to where we are.
But other people are also saying that we shamed Ghanaian entrepreneurs. We've come from a generation where people used to hide their monies under their beds. If they've erred, if the regulators failed in doing their jobs and these entrepreneurs failed in their duties, couldn't we have handled it a bit carefully? Because now people are not saving with the banks. They don't want to save with local Ghanaian-owned banks. So don't you have anything to say about that?
Let me tell you. If Akufo-Addo's government had not released about 14 billion, over 3 million Ghanaians today would have had the situation you're having with NAM1 or whatever. So the decision by the government has saved the lives of millions of Ghanaians.
And has made no impact on the perception people have on locally owned banks.
It has.
What has it done? What has it done to change the perception we have on local owned banks?
I'm a finance person.
Okay.
After my results from the banks, now I have confidence in the banks.
All right, thank you very much.
So it will take time for other people along our social stratification to understand what we are doing.
Thank you very much. And Honorable Suhuyini, I apologize if I cut you off. I would want you to...
I just want to appeal to you to watch this, this first session after the show, and then we can talk.
I apologize if I offended
you. No, I think
that you haven't... Intimidate and
just watch it.
You give him all the time.
It's fine.
Okay.
Just watch it.
I thought you didn't have anything to say about... Please go ahead. Please go ahead. On the banking sector. Please go ahead. I apologize and I would allow you to make your point.
We give you the time. You can even take my time.
It's okay.
The point I made about Ato Essien, I didn't say that Ato Essien was not accused of anything wrong. I'm just making a point that, look, the way the whole thing is handled makes me think. And I was explaining my thoughts. You cut me short. But the point is, Ato Essien was accused of ABC, why Capital Bank was collapsed. We heard all the things the Bank of Ghana and the government had to say about him. The moment Ato Essien went on TV to also tell his side of the story, he was picked up. You had Prince Amoah.
So he was arrested because he spoke.
Please allow him make his point. He did not come in when you were speaking. Please allow him make his point. Please allow him make his point. I will ask the questions. You don't ask the questions for me. Thank you very much.
Then you had Prince Amoah. From 2017-2018, the government and the Bank of Ghana had all they had to say about his dealings. Immediately, he also went on TV3 to state his side of the story. He got picked. You have Unibank. They have been in court with this government, even requesting the audit report from KPMG. The Bank of Ghana won't give them. All we keep hearing is the side of the Bank of Ghana and government. Then we see a report from the Attorney General that says that the Unibank was illegally collapsed. And that the way they went about it was improper. From the Attorney General. The leaked, memo has not been denied by government. But the following week after that memo is released to the public, you have this story. So it makes you wonder whether, and I'm only wondering, it makes you wonder whether there's a grand scheme to shut people up and do us we please because we have the power so to do. There may be genuine concerns, like I have said, genuine reasons why we have to clean up the banking sector. Nobody argues about it because that is why the audit started. That is why the laws were amended and introduced. But the handling, it is that same poor, shambolic handling that has led to low liquidity in the banking sector as a result of people not depositing. So it is important that in discussing this, we don't lose sight of some of these things. Because, look, the Bank of Ghana and what government says, what the Attorney General says, are not facts.
They are allegations.
They are allegations. So just as we tolerate those allegations, we must also tolerate whatever responses will come from the accused person.
And their lawyers have come out to also speak that they've not even been served yet. So
exactly. So sometimes it makes you wonder why there seems to be a media trial to get us all to think one directional without the opportunity for us to listen to the other side and make our own minds. And anytime it seems to me that any of them tries to put their story out there, they are slapped with either arrest or slapped with, invitations to all kinds of institutions or to the court. Why? What is going on?
Thank you very much, Honorable Senior. Mr. Amoah, you gave him your time, so we do have to move on. You gave him your time. You did give him your time.
I shouldn't speak.
Yes.
So that was not established.
Okay, but you did give him your time. Do you agree with me that you gave him your time?
I wanted to, and you disallowed me.
From giving him your time?
Yes.
Okay, you have 1 minute because we do have to move on. Okay.
Please, how could an external stakeholder say that the issues being raised by Bank of... I'm not against or for those arrested.
Okay.
I don't have details of the issue.
Yes, exactly. They are all innocent until proven guilty.
If there's anybody to draw inferences and let Ghanaians know that the decision, the statement by whatever stakeholder we're talking about is the right decision or not, it's the industry players.
Okay.
It's not a politician who is just doing politics.
Okay.
And two, we should also look at the output, the results, the consequence of what they've done.
Okay.
So the banking sector, they are saying now it's better than it used to be. You, external stakeholder, MP, you are saying that, people are not depositing.
Well, he's a member of parliament and he represents the needs of his people in parliament.
That's why we have asymmetric information management.
But I have him here as my guest and you are also here as my guest speaking on the topic.
But
so we value both of your opinions.
I've raised issue that from here, the next time I come here, I'll ask you.
That's fine.
What are your findings from the banking industry?
That's fine. Okay.
So that I can come here and say anything I want.
That's perfectly fine.
He says something I disagree. I'm not a lawyer, but please, all over the world, including Ghana, when there are issues between parties, all parties are furnished with charges, informations, critical pieces of information from other parties to be given to you and your counsel before you come to court. So the issue that they are not being furnished with...
The lawyer of Dufour and Dufour second have said they've not been...
When I land, then you can go ahead. If the lawyer says that, I'll be surprised because there is nowhere in this world that before even your client and you yourself are allowed to continue the charges or whatever. And this, they've changed the system.
Okay.
I've been in court recently. I've never been. My first time. Before even you start, everything you have, including your exhibits or whatever, given to the both parties before you proceed.
We do have to move on.
So I'm surprised they are putting up this information. However, I know Dufour and the son, they were great people. They were doing well. Even the UT man. But of course, it's unfortunate this thing happened. Whether it was right or wrong, let's all look at what comes out of it.
All right.
I'm not condemning it. I'm not for it. But what he is saying is mere politics.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll take a look at our next story here. I'm reading from page 3 of the New Crusading Guide. And it says, Minority wants Environment Minister arrested, prosecuted over missing excavators. The minority in Parliament has called for the arrest and prosecution of the Environment Minister, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, over some missing excavators. They say it is not enough for the Central Regional Vice Chairman of the MPP, Eko Ewusi, to be the only one who has been arrested. The minority spokesperson on Mines, Adam Mutawakilu, said the minister breached the Mining Act when he gave the NPP vice chair the responsibility to move the excavators when the law states clearly who should take responsibility for them. So I'm going to quote the minority spokesperson on Mines, Adam Mutawakilu. He says, the Minerals and Mining Act 2015, Section 99(5) is clear as to where a seized excavator or confiscated excavator should be put. It states clearly that when equipment or products are seized, they should be kept in the custody of the police. In this case, the law was put aside and the minister decided to have his own law as to where the excavators should be put because of the intention to ensure that these excavators vanish for their own selfish interest. He goes on to say, as we speak, Professor Frimpong Boateng has not implemented it, which is the act that I mentioned earlier, the Mining Act 2015, Section 9(5). If you breach the law and someone takes advantage of you breaching the law to also breach the law, why must you arrest that person? Professor Frimpong Boateng should be arrested, first of all, breaching the law and paving the way for others. So I'll say that again. Professor Frimpong Boateng should be arrested for, first of all, breaching the law and paving the way for others to do so as well. So, Honorable Suhuyini, you are part of the minority in Parliament. Why are we asking for the arrest of the Environment Minister?
Well, because we can't ask for the arrest of the president.
Okay.
Because he would have been the best person to be arrested.
Why?
But I'm consoled by the fact that he himself told the people of Ghana that he was putting his job as president on this fight.
Okay.
And that the success or otherwise of this fight ought to determine whether he keeps his job or not. So I believe that as president, he has immunities. We can't ask for his arrest, but the minister can be arrested. It would have been ideal to ask for his arrest. Okay. But in all of this discussion, I am very, very sorry for all Ghanaians, especially civil society organizations, yourself, media houses, especially Citi FM, for all the time and resources you put behind this fight. Because this, for me, what is happening now is a betrayal of the confidence that you had in the system to fight this by which led to you putting your resources and time at the disposal of government to do this for all of us. Unfortunately, I know that a lot of you are disappointed in the outcomes. So I feel sorry. Now, I am not surprised, however, that we have this outcome. Because from the beginning, when some of us assess how things were going, we came out to make the point that it seemed to us that the whole fight was selective and wicked, especially when the ban was introduced, that ban. Because the evidence showed that during the ban, many people who are affiliated to the NPP, and the evidence is now there, the General Secretary, the Ashanti Chairman and others, were still mining and getting protection from the state. But Hajia Alima Mahama, the local government minister, for example, came out to tell us that...
Does he have evidence that naming people that they were still...
Hajia Alima Mahama came out to tell us.
But the way you ask me questions,
I will allow him make his points, and then I'll give him follow-up questions, and then I'll come to you. Is that okay? Honorable
Hajia Alima Mahama came out to tell us all that, in fact, she was addressing DCs, that she knew some DCs who were involved in this Galamsey Act. Up till today, she has not named any of them. She has not reported any of them to the police. Then, in the process of fighting the crime, you arrest equipment and you go and pack the equipment with the people that the minister who is in charge of them have told us all that they are involved in the Galamsey. Which is an act which is even against the law, because the law says pack the things or keep it, in the custody of the police. You don't put it in the custody of the police. You put it in the custody of the people that the minister responsible for local government has told us is involved. What outcome do you expect? Then you have Aisha Wang, who was arrested. The senior minister tells us that prosecuting her would give nothing to Ghana. Ghana was not going to benefit in any way. And so, therefore, it means that not prosecuting her, gave us some benefit. But that benefit, obviously, was not the pollution that we see in our river. But the government
came out to disassociate themselves from the senior minister's comments, right?
Well, but that was expected.
He was not speaking for government.
But the senior minister is a highly placed government official, working with the president at the Flagstaff House. And I think that if the president felt very strongly, having put his job on the line, if the president felt very strongly about what the senior minister said and thought it was unpalatable, he should have fired him. But to still continue to work with him in the same office, I don't think that denial was serious.
But 6 people have been arrested tied to this missing excavator saga. Shouldn't you have allowed the investigations to roll out, as opposed, aren't you jumping the gun by going for the environment minister's arrest?
No, we are not jumping the gun, because you see, all these examples I'm giving you didn't just happen yesterday or today. It didn't happen at the point of the missing excavators. These were whirlwinds. These were signs that were already on the wall. So I'm saying that Sir John, for example, is also on record to have said that senior people, big men above him, Sir John is a big man in the NPP, but if he has also lamented that big men above him were giving protection to some of these people to continue the illegal thing, it should tell you something. Now, we have this gentleman who has been arrested.
Please wrap up for us.
Who has been arrested as a result of the missing excavators, also defending himself.
But it was his direct responsibility. Right,
First of all, it was wrong. It was wrong to make it his responsibility.
But wasn't it his responsibility? So if something has gone wrong, he should be held accountable.
The person who it was wrong
for it to be his responsibility, it should have been handed over to the police.
Good. So the one who made it his responsibility, first of all, must be handled. Then we can handle him too.
Okay, so we can handle him first before we handle
We can handle. We are not. It is not about which comes first, but they must be handled.
So both of them should be handled.
But you see, that's what the minority is saying. Just like in drug in the fight against drug trafficking, you usually don't go for the, how do they call them?
Oh, you usually go for the lowest, and then you use it to get the highest.
Fantastic, but
so
you see,
you don't go for the highest because it's difficult to get a hold of the kingpin.
But to crack the ring, you need the kingpin.
Yes, but you don't go for the kingpin first.
So I'm not saying, we are not about who should be held first.
That's fine.
We are about cracking the ring.
That's fine.
We are not about who should be held first.
Fine.
So we are saying that Frimpong Boateng must be arrested because we can't call for the arrest of the president. He would have been the best person.
Thank you. I'm still failing to connect the dots between the president and what's going on.
He put his job on the line for this.
Okay, that's fine.
Every action that has been taken in this fight by his appointees were taken in his name.
Thank you very much. I have to allow Mr.
And he only blamed the judges for it. He says the judges are not doing well. He won't blame the...
Thank you very much, Honorable Suhuyini.
Dziffa, it is interesting. If not anything at all, Galamsey has done a lot of harm to our society, our water bodies, our trees, our forests, and even lives. You remember fish that we get from here? They're saying they are now identifying mercury, which is very...
Even the water that we drink.
Exactly. This happened not only under former President Mahama. I'm sure before he came, that exercise was there. Before MPP came.
Yes.
But at least we should commend Akufo-Addo.
What happened with the 500 excavators?
I'm coming. Look, please. What happened? I'm coming there.
Okay.
I'm building my point.
Okay, please.
Why did we get 500 excavators seized? Why?
Exactly.
A decision
so we
was
found them. We were supposed to hand them over to the police.
Can you also let me finish my point before you also ask me?
Okay.
Thank you very much. A bold decision was made by a president.
Okay.
That could have been made earlier to mitigate the impact of what you're having today, just as you said about the banking sector.
Okay.
Former President Mahama probably was controlled by cowardice. He could not do it.
So after that decision was made, I need, for the benefit of our viewers, I need to...
you allow him to speak, then you ask him. If not, you banter. Let me also make my point. At least my building my preamble, you are just distracting me. Thank you very much. So what I'm saying that we have to comment President today. Of course, I agree there are challenges with the whole processes. I hope you understand. In the first place, minority always gets it wrong.
Okay.
They said that only Awusi is arrested.
6 people were arrested.
So why did they say only Awusi? And the names are here. So they even have the information.
But they want the environment minister arrested and prosecuted.
All the comments they are making.
Okay, but they still want the environment minister arrested and prosecuted.
I'm coming. Then former president should have been arrested because he supervised 8 years of this huge harm to our society.
Okay.
So if people have to be arrested, he was the first person.
Who should we hold accountable for the 500 excavators?
Who should be held
accountable?
Who should be held?
Yes, from your perspective.
They are investigating now. You cannot conclude.
Okay.
Because if they haven't fishing conclusion, can you say who should be held
accountable? Who was in charge of that investigation, ensuring that at least when you get the excavators, you hand it over to the police? Why didn't they do that?
Why didn't they do that? They have not finished the investigation. These are all hearsay on the airwaves.
No, we heard that
unless you can conclude the case and pass sentence.
We are not passing
exactly.
sentence.
So
it's a very straightforward thing. You're supposed to take. If I take your phone from you, and I'm supposed to give it to the policeman, and I fail to give it to the policeman, who should you hold accountable for that?
Have they finished? Now the case is the police.
Okay.
Are they not investigating?
They are.
I'm sure you'll be taken to court.
Okay.
Yeah? And then courts of competent jurisdiction will come out with the findings for us to believe what you're saying.
Okay.
Because everything being said now is set out of what? Speculation.
But what do you make about the law, the Minerals and Mining Act?
You decided not let me talk. That's
2015 section 99.5, where it says, if you seize an excavator, it should be handed over to the police.
And I'm saying that they are saying that it was not handed over to the police. That's what you have heard. That's what I have heard. You are not lying. Not until they finish the investigation, whether it is true, the reason it was done, if it is so or not so, you and I cannot conclude.
But
that's the situation.
The law says...
You are not getting what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is...
I'm not disputing the law, but what I'm saying is
that some excavators had gone missing, and that they were clearly not with the police. So how did they go missing?
And that is why somebody has been arrested and they are investigating. You want to finish the investigation and conclude here?
Not really. I'm just trying to provide clarity.
My dear sister.
Yes, and so I'm trying to get clarity on why we didn't hand them over to the police in the first place.
But
From your views,
is it 100% true or not? You and I don't know. It still remains speculation.
So are you saying the police had it and they are speculating that they don't have it?
I'm saying that until they finish the investigation, I think this is simple logic. Unless you don't accept the logic I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because what you've heard, I've heard the same.
Okay.
I'm sure nobody has heard the same.
I'll find you the letter from... Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Because you've not allowed me to speak.
Please go
ahead.
ahead.
I think this is the second time on this show.
Please go ahead.
I beg you.
I apologize. Please go ahead.
Because you allow him to speak.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Since I started, not one sentence has been... And I think you are frustrating me.
I apologize. Please go ahead.
What I'm saying is that what you are raising is true. I agree with you.
Okay.
But these are the reasons there has been arrest. They have arrested them, investigated if they are true, they will be prosecuted.
Okay.
So you insisting, why didn't they? Why didn't they? It means you are concluding the matter.
Okay.
Then they have to be sent to jail at once.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because what I've heard was they did not pack some or the excavators at the police premises, or on the police premises.
Okay.
If they did that, it was against the law.
Yeah.
They have to be dealt with. And that is why, even though this gentleman happens to be, or used to be, former regional first vice of MPP, Central Region, we have not shelved him. He's arrested with 6 others. It means the government is ready. Nanadu putting his leadership online to fighting Galamsey. He means business. And of course, some rivers, we have seen improvement, some worsen. It's a fact. Okay. But what we have to say is that now these things are being investigated. What you are saying is not false. Okay. But not until they finish the investigations and find out and punish them. You cannot say. You understand what I'm saying? It's like somebody seeing you in my car. Yeah. And he doesn't know our relationship, and he's like, oh, Stika and Dziffa, hey, they are in serious romantic distance.
Can I get your feedback on this
evidence
letter?
Is found.
I have a letter
we
here.
Cannot just go by speculation and say that you are my girlfriend.
Let me read the
I think
request.
that is the establishment.
I agree with you.
Request
for investigation. I want you to tie it into this letter from
but if I tie what's wrong
Professor Kwabena Frimpong.
You can marry him for
Mr. Ewusi was contracted to cut excavators and other vehicles and pieces of equipment seized by the Operation Vanguard to designated areas for safekeeping. That's the first line of the investigation. He was distracting you, so I should read it for you. Mr. Akua Ewusi was contracted to cut excavators and other vehicles and pieces of equipment seized by Operation Vanguard to designated areas for safekeeping. This is the words of Professor Frimpong Boateng. And my question to you is, why were we contracting an individual to do this when we're supposed to just hand it over to the police? If he had not been given that, perhaps we won't have this issue of him now going on to say we have received information that he has sent an unknown number of equipment to unauthorized locations and even accusing him of selling some of the equipment. So if you hadn't engaged this person in the first place and handed over to the police, would we have had this issue? Please answer the question for me for the benefit of our viewers.
Just before I answer this question.
Answer the question, please.
I'm going to answer.
Thank you very much. We have just 60 seconds, that's why.
To finish the show?
To answer the question and then finish the show.
Is it spelling bee and quiz or what? You can't do that to me, please. I think let's look when you finish. It's not maybe not intentional, but what I don't have what who told you. The point is there's a goal or an objective to be attained.
Okay.
Objective is to stop Galamsey. There are a series of activities along the critical activity path. They that are directly involved had assessed the difficulty or the task that was involved. And they thought that, okay, they had to do decentralization. Yeah. And by doing that, they had to get other people involved in doing A, B, C, D. And they thought that, okay, bringing this gentleman on board to actually attend to this particular task, we can expedite our actions well. Mind you, talking about decision-making processes in attaining your goals and objectives, there are always alternatives.
So sometimes you can bend the law a bit.
No, not bending the law. There are alternatives in decision-making processes. Other than that, there wouldn't be decision. Your alternative might be different from my alternative. So probably the framers of this whole idea of fighting Galamsey thought this is the best approach.
Which will be
getting other people involved doing this. Maybe the person that was sent, you can have a child. I'm not saying we see I've done wrong or right. I don't have the details. But what I'm saying is that maybe you send your child to go and buy Kobe and you ask your child, please buy Kobe. He gets to the road, see toffees and buy something with it.
Unfortunately, governing a country is not as simple as buying Kobe and going to get toffees.
I'm giving a scenario.
Yeah.
I'm a researcher. I'm giving a scenario. Can I finish?
Yes, please.
But before I continue,
Oh, please allow him land because we don't have. Please
I
go
won't
ahead.
speak again. It's okay. Because I think you are assisting him to do that to me. No, just go ahead.
Okay.
Wow,
Just
Thank
go
you
ahead.
very much.
No, go ahead. Because but this is the
today.
second time it's happening here, and viewers are watching. Because it's like as soon as I start talking.
I have not even allowed him speak for
No,
the past
when
5
he was
minutes.
talking,
Yes.
he spoke like almost 2 minutes, and he
Okay.
said, "Oh, you want him to finish?" When I start talking, you've not even allowed me to land one sentence. I'm being honest with you.
But he said the same thing
Because
as well. He said the same thing
listen,
20
the
minutes
question
ago.
you insisted on, yes, you are not wrong, but I'm surprised that yes, people are saying ABC. Even Professor Frimpong's statement, until we finish the investigation,
still an
you cannot
allegation.
say that. Of course.
Thank you very
So I'm
much.
saying that let them finish the investigation.
investigations.
Let courts of competent jurisdiction and other bodies, statutory will come in. Then the findings will let us, you and I
know
also
who is
yes.
guilty.
And you're saying no.
Thank you. I
and so
agree
you should
with
do
you.
this,
I
you should
agree
do
with
that.
you.
I'm surprised.
I agree with
But
you.
this is simple logic.
Oh, you
Thank
do?
you.
Agree with
No,
him?
please.
Stephen Amoah is the
You
CEO
agree
of
with
MASLOC,
him?
and of course,
I don't know
Honorable
what he has
Alhassan
said that you
Suhuyini
agree
is
with
MP of Tamale North. Thank you both. Thank you both.
To comment on this matter. Because
We have unfortunately run out of time. Thank you very much at home as well.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.